In case you guys haven't noticed or aren't going to notice, we have checked out a lot of booths at Computex this year. In fact, we checked out at basically every single major booth that we wanted to, which, in case you were wondering, it's actually a lot. And you know what? They can all learn a thing or two from Be Quiet. The German company's booth was packed with interesting new and updated products, and everyone was super helpful. And no, we're not just saying this just because they offered us a few beers as soon as we got there, or because we want them to send us a few free cases. And while we don't often get to play around with all that many Be Quiet products back home in South Africa, we're usually very impressed with the ones we do get our hands on or we get to see on the interweb. So we were particularly excited to see what brought the company to the table, or what the company brought to the table this year. Our Computex coverage is brought to you by Wootware, Palette, and Fantex. Check them out at the links in the video description. Also, big thanks to MSI for sending us here to Computex 2018. We're excited to show off what their true gaming brand has to offer on display this year. Now, while there weren't all that many brand new products on display, there were a few significantly overhauled versions of a few fan favorites, including Silent Base 601 and 801. The Silent Base cases, as the naming would suggest, are some of the quietest cases around, if not the most. Unfortunately, they had some issues that Be Quiet is trying to address with the new versions of the Silent Base 601 and 801. Both cases feature an almost all-metal design for the best possible rigidity and durability, and used angle intake vents on the front for improved airflow and reduced noise. Both also feature either a 3-step fan controller for the 3 fans in the case of the 601 or for the 6 fans in the 801. And one of the biggest complaints about the previous versions of these cases was that they didn't include power supply shrouds. Well, they do now. That's right, both the 601 and 801 now ship with shrouds, and they look absolutely sick. And on the topic of power supplies, the cases now feature PSU cages that can be used to install your PSU outside of the chassis, which can then just be slid into place. Joining in on the sliding action, the cases feature metal radiator trays with support for up to 360mm radiators that can be slid out when installing said rads. One of the coolest new features we've seen on the new cases are buttons on the rear of each side panel that release said panels when pressed. Or, as Be Quiet said, no screwdrivers or thumb screw crap here. So the cases also feature other modular aspects, especially surrounding drive bays, but we won't be getting too deep into all of that. Now, because these are acoustic focused cases, you'd expect Be Quiet to double down on these new revisions, and they actually did. The cases feature completely redesigned dampening materials, including panels that are between 5 and 10 millimeters in thickness. They thick, boy! The panels also feature perforations that are especially useful for reducing higher pitched noise, like when I'm in the closet and I go, "Breep!" And while both cases share a lot in common, the 801 has a few extra features that deserve a mention. First is that it offers users the ability to invert their motherboard trays and change orientation to what they think looks best. The 801 also features full 420mm radiator support in the front, while also sporting room for 6 HDDs as well as 11 SSDs right out of the box, or in the box as it were. The Silent Base 601 is expected to hit the market in Q3 and should come in at around the $140 to $150 mark, while the 801 is expected in Q4 and should cost around $150 to $160. Another fan favorite that wasn't without its flaws was the Dark Base Pro 900, and that too has seen an overhaul this year. While it retains all of the features users liked from the original 900, this revision addresses some of the most common issues users were complaining about with the previous one. As with the previous 2 cases, the revamped 900 also now comes with a PSU shroud, and it's made up of 3 modular panels that can be removed as users see fit. If you've already bought the original 900 and felt a little cheated, Be Quiet feels ya, which is why they'll be selling the shroud separately too. Other changes include black bars on the tempered glass window to hide mounting holes and the like, a fan overdrive function that pushes the installed fans from 1000 to 1600 RPM, and the addition of a USB Type-C port that supports quick charging on the front of the case. Revision 2 of the Dark Base Pro 900 is expected to launch sometime next month and should be priced at around $269. Then the Dark Rock Pro air coolers are some of the best around. You know it, we know it, and Be Quiet knows it, which is why they've decided to build a version exclusively for use with AMD's monstrous new Threadripper 2 and original Threadripper parts, right, all 32 cores of them. The cooler sports two of the company's Silent Wing fans, a black ceramic finish with little dots everywhere to improve airflow and heat dissipation, and makes use of 7 heat pipes. The most important detail of the cooler is that it will be one of the very few Threadripper coolers that can actually cover the entire surface of the chip's IHS. Threadripper runs cooler when coolers actually are on top of the entire thing, like significantly cooler, so the Dark Rock Pro Threadripper edition should be perfect for anyone not going the AIO or liquid cooling route. It's expected to launch sometime in Q4. And then the last thing we found particularly interesting at the Be Quiet booth was a new fan design called Shadowy. The company claims it's the quietest fans yet. Because they're focused on silence above all else, they're not aimed at power users. They run at 900 RPM in the case of the 140mm versions, and at a max of 1100 RPM for the 120mm. They also include rubber mounts, which should improve acoustics even more. And that's going to wrap it up of our coverage of the Be Quiet booth here at Computex this year. Be sure to let us know which of their new releases is your favorite by sounding off down in the comments or in the community Discord. And don't forget to hit that like button while you're down there. We also want to just give a big thanks to our sponsors for sending us here to Computex this year. That is Wootware, Palette, Fantex, and MSI. We couldn't be here without them. I couldn't be making closet videos in our hotel room because you guys just seem to love closet videos. Anyways, I'm Brett with the UFD Tech channel. Thank you so much for watching. Please get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content and the rest of our Computex videos, and I will see you all in the next one. Cheers.